This is the Texas Dirt Track Stars of Tomorrow podcast. I'm your host, Mike Fortier, coming to you live from San Antonio, Texas. This is a show where we interview and discuss the up-and-coming future legends of the Texas racing scene. So grab a cold one, kick back, relax, and enjoy the show. Hey, everybody, how y'all doing? Listen, we're back. Thank God. Scrambled around a little bit here the last couple of weeks for some strange reason, trying to get folks lined up. But in any event, I put a quick post out on Facebook here yesterday, I think, and I got some pretty fast responses. This gentleman we've got on tonight, I guess, was the first response that I got to that whole deal. So he's here tonight, and I tell you what. Just met this gentleman yesterday, and I have had a blast talking with him. It's been a lot of fun. I think you'll enjoy it. So let's get going here. Meet this gentleman. Most of you, I'm sure, know him very well. So here you are, Lance Gaither. Lance,
how y'all doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Oh man, we're doing good. We're blessed.
Yeah,
keeping busy, and my foundation business is doing good, and racing's doing good. We're having fun. We're blessed.
Yep. Well, I'm so glad you offered to come on because
I appreciate you.
I
appreciate you having us on. Yeah, I really appreciate it.
I have a lot of fun doing this. I've been around down here for several years, and it's hard to make connections with people. It's hard no matter where you go. You know, you gotta reach out to people and try to get to know them. If they're willing to get to know you, it works pretty good.
Yes, sir.
So
yes, sir.
This show has given me that privilege, if you will, to get to know some of you fellas.
Yes, sir.
And I just thoroughly enjoy doing this. So
it's a lot of fun. We need people like you that, especially these young drivers coming up through the ranks.
Right.
Both my boys, they were young coming up through the ranks. Jeremy's boys now are coming through the ranks.
Yeah.
You got Blaine Margraf coming through the ranks. You got heck, now Dylan and Brandon they're both of those. They're past now. And now we got these young kids coming up, and it's awesome to see these kids coming up.
Totally. Yeah. For sure.
Seeing what Blaine did this past weekend, it was just it was great seeing that young man do what he did.
It sure was. That was an incredible run too.
Oh, from the back to the front, and then he passed one of the. I mean, GW Hesson's not a slouch. I mean, he's a hell of a wheelman, and he passed him good. I mean, he come from the back.
Yep.
He got the job done.
Yeah, I enjoyed watching that. Yeah, he was on this show a couple of weeks ago, and
was he good?
Yeah, that's where
the family. You can't. The family's just awesome.
Yeah.
We're fortunate. Dylan's racing for the family, racing for Paul Harelka.
Okay.
And it's just been a whirlwind with working with them. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, cool.
And then Dylan pulled off the win too, so that was awesome. Good weekend.
It was a good night. It was a
yes,
good
sir.
night.
Yes, sir.
I saw them nose to nose over on the photograph.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That was good.
That was pretty good. It's great to see these young kids. It's hard for them now. It's hard for these young kids because we don't have a beginner type class now. We got the front runners, which if it wasn't for the front runners, Dylan and Brandon wouldn't have had their deal. Greg Romer put both those boys in the cars, and we run in Kyle, and we ran in run out there, and Dylan won a championship, and but you gotta have something going. Gotta have something for these kids to get started in. We got the go-kart. We had the go-karts and they're gone. Now we got we can go to Corpus and run the go-karts and stuff. It's hard for these young kids right now. It's hard for them.
Well, I agree. I mean, I think that I've told some of these younger drivers that I've had on the show that are coming from maybe their second, third, fourth generation racers in the family, right? And I've said, you just don't know how fortunate you are. I wasn't born into that.
Yeah.
My dad, when I wanted to go racing, my dad was like,
we ain't doing this, huh?
Same thing.
He said, we're not doing this.
The young fellas, they've got some great opportunities and they've got some great futures ahead of them. And they've got a lot of them have some damn good support behind them too.
They do, and it's good to see, like yourself with helping Jerry, with Jeremy and his boys and stuff like that. You need that. You got to have that. If it wasn't for the Alexanders, Arthur Alexander, he's the one that gave the shot for Dylan and Brandon. He's done a lot for a lot of people, and then Dylan drove for Alan for a few years, and Arthur did a whole bunch of stuff. And like I told you before, I was very fortunate to hang on the shirt tails of John Howell for many years. And, he taught me a lot, and now that the boys, they got Jake Kruger and the Springs and, they're, like I was talking to you a while ago, I'm more of an engine guy. I build motors and I do the engine stuff. I hear them kids talking about geometries and roll centers and this and that. I'm like, I'm out. I'm out of here. It's just amazing what these kids learn now. It's amazing. It's great to see them. Jeremy's kids, they've come up. They're way past him and I when it comes to all that stuff. And it's and if it wasn't for your front runners, get them started. And like we were talking about a while ago,
right?
You get these young kids. That's what I got them into, to learn the racing. Learn how to pass, be in a group, learn how to start. Get your feet wet. And learn the racing, learn it, and then you got the quarter midgets. You got the quarter midgets going on. Get these young kids. If mom and dad wants, the kid wants to do it, get him a quarter midget. Get him a car. Get him out there and get him going. And it's really neat to do that.
Yep, those quarter midgets are pretty sophisticated. I think a young fellow would learn a lot. Driving.
Boy, they are. They've come a long way. My business partner, his son runs one, and I go out there every once in a while and watch them. And man, they're race cars. They're plain and simple. They're race cars.
Oh, no question about it. Yeah,
they're race cars. They're coilovers, and they're flat race cars.
Fully adjustable.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I mean, they're full blown race cars.
Yeah. I was just looking up at comments there, Lance. I usually forget to do this, but I made a big note that says comments and stuck it right in front.
That might get pretty scary for a little while with me on here.
It's all good, man. It's all good. So we got one from Dwayne and let's see, Trailer.
Wonderful family.
Hey,
Wonderful
Trailer.
family.
Yes, they are.
They're just the great people. I just seen here. Trailer Caulfield, great. His family, his dad and I go back way back.
Yeah,
and good kid there. Learning the ropes and doing. He works his butt off for it.
Yeah, for sure. So getting back to the beginner class subject we were talking about right now. I guess the path would be I guess sport compacts up to
that's
either factory stock or fireballs. I don't know, but I wonder what can we do to get more kids? I'll call them that involved in that class, in that sport
Yeah.
compact class, or do you think there's room for something else?
I kind of looked around. I wish I had a good answer for that.
Yeah.
Racing has gotten so technology,
Mhm.
and I really think the sport compacts is the way to go right now. It's affordable,
Mhm.
and I mean racing period. I mean, it just depends on what you want to do. I mean,
Mhm.
we were up in Cotton Bowl this back 2 weeks ago, running up there, and there was a front runner next to us. I swore to God it was a cup car. My God, that thing was beautiful.
Really, really.
And then come to find out, the guy works for Petty. He worked for Ray Abraham, and I mean, it was just a beautiful machine.
Wow.
And you're going to find that, but I honestly think if you can get these young kids younger and get them into the sport compacts, get them in there, and like we were talking about, learn the racing, learn what it is. I wish we had like what we used back when I used to race, was called bomber class.
Mhm.
Just excuse my language, a crap box. Just throw a cage in it, put some 8-inch tires on it, some 7, and go beat it up.
Yeah.
Go learn it.
Yeah.
We don't have that no more. I've kind of looked at the what they call the Crown Vic class.
Yeah.
We Brandon ran it, and Kyle, when we were running in Kyle, and he started at 12 years old, same age as Blaine.
Mhm.
And Marianne she's so awesome. Marianne
Yep.
Marianne and H are just the greatest people,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
Owen does everything he can for the kids. They're just great people.
Yeah.
Marianne made sure Brandon, he had a test before he went out there, and and it was a Crown Vic old police car we bought from Aaron Letty, and went out there, and I put a full tank of gas in it, and we went out there for practice and just let him go, just go make laps, man. And we don't have that now. We don't have any of that no more.
Yeah.
You go into these $30,000 factory stocks, you're not going to put a 13-year-old kid, and not saying that they can't do it no more. I mean, they come along. Sorry about the dogs.
Oh, it's fine.
They come a long way. I mean, these, they got the simulators now that we didn't have back then, and they run
Right.
iRacing.
Right.
They do the
I
iRacing.
tell you what, that's huge. That's huge.
And it's
I've been iRacing for 10 or 12 years, off and on, but
Brandon does a lot of it. Brandon and Jay Kruger and a lot of those. They get on there, and I'll be honest, it's helped Brandon when we were running in Houston.
yeah.
I really think it helped him a lot.
I've seen
Control.
young kids that I was racing with,
Yes, sir.
turn 18 or whatever, as soon as they were able, and jump into a friggin' race car. And I don't mean a sport compact or a Crown Vic or anything like that, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Lay model, boom, and drive that thing like they've driven it their whole life.
Oh,
Amazing. It's amazing.
We were at Pensacola, Florida several years ago running the Snowball Derby, and there was a young man, you'll know his name now, is Smith. He runs for JGR. Runs. I can't think of his first name right now.
Yeah.
But anyway, he wasn't 4 foot tall, and the pedals were inside the car because he was so little. And here he was running a super late model, and I was like, man, Chandler. His name is Chandler. Chandler Smith. There you go.
Yeah.
He was parked next to us, and I was like, man, you're putting a high chair in a race car. I got that from Kenny Hurley. Kenny Hurley says that.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it was. I watched that kid, and I mean, look at him now. Look where he's at.
Get up to Martinsville, same thing.
Yeah.
This kid is 10, 11, 12 years old, jumps into a late model at Martinsville. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing what they
and
do.
ran well too. I mean,
and they do. He ran very well. The young man just got. I remember I remember watching Chase Elliott at the Derby. We were at the Derby and watching Chase Elliott. Heck, he won 5 foot tall, running. And here he was, I think he was 15 years old. Him and Blaney, they're all running there. Now let's go back and say, they got the backing behind them,
Sure.
but it's still, you're still 13, 14 years old. Well,
here's a good one for you. Many years ago, I was standing in the ticket line, the driver check-in line at Oxford, in Oxford Plains, Maine, for the Oxford 250.
Yes, sir.
There's this young fellow standing. My daughter was with me. It was 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
My daughter was with me. She was, I don't know, 15 or 16, I guess. And I said to her, I said, "You see that young kid right there standing in line to sign in?" She says, "Yeah." "Go ask him to marry you right now." It was Jeff Gordon
Was it really?
at 16 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, so yeah.
It's amazing. I wish we could find. I was very fortunate enough to, back in the racing, we had a beginner class. Bombers, what they call them back then.
Yep.
We ran on 78 series tires, and there was just an old beater car. We go racing, and it's just not there no more. The closest thing we do have is, I'm not knocking anything saying a beater car. The race car is a race car. Whether it's a go-kart, Kenny Wallace said it, like I told you, Kenny Wallace says it perfect, man. You race what you can. If you're getting in a front runner, or you're getting in a go-kart, or you're getting in a big wheel, man, at the end of the day, you're racing. And that's what you want to do. The kid the young man or the young lady wants to go race. Let them, you put them in something, let them go do it.
It's competitive. You still get the competitive feeling when you're out there, no matter what you're in. And it's racing is racing. I agree with you totally. In a shopping cart.
Hey, shopping, it don't matter. We're racing, and the one thing about the racing, and I've been doing this all my life. My dad raced at Pan American Speedway with Paul Horelka and Bubba Starback and Buddy Yanis and Buddy Jurgens and all those guys. And then I've been fortunate to race with, great people too, Kenny Hurley and Bob Caulfield and all those great guys and stuff. The thing is now is racing is a family. We've all been a family. Rather we sit and fight on a Friday night and drink a beer later, I wouldn't want it any other way.
Yep.
It comes down to I've had scuffles with 90% of them. We've had disagreements on everything.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, if the man came up to me and needed a radiator or whatever, I'd give it to him. Just go racing and give it and go racing.
Yep.
My kids grew up with it all their lives. I was a Romco official for the whole time the Romcos with Terry Barden and Robert Mullins, and I had a great experience with that, running at Texas Motor Speedway and meeting all the NASCAR people and stuff.
Yep.
It's just a family. I wouldn't want it any other way with the kids. It's a great thing for kids to, everybody knows your kids and stuff. It's hard. I'm trying to get the words right. We're family. Whether we don't like each other and whether we butt heads with each other, at the end of the day, we've been around each other for umpteen years.
Sure.
Kenny Hurley, I've been around, Kenny Hurley. I have so much respect for him and his family, and Dakota and those. I've watched those kids come up through it. Damon Bean and I ran around down on the grandstands at San Antonio Speedway when we were kids. Next thing you know, we're racing with each other.
What do you think? There's at least two different types of racers. I think, no matter how old you are, you either just love racing, you're happy doing what you're doing. Maybe that's all you can afford to do. you go with it. You make the best of it.
Absolutely.
And then there's those that would really like to make something of their career.
Sure.
Move on up. I mean, whether you dream of being a NASCAR Cup driver or whatever it is, what do you say to those kids in terms of what let's say they finally get themselves a car, they're out there on the racetrack, they start doing better and better and better. What do you think is the most important thing for them to do to positively promote themselves and advance their career? I know that's a big question, but
Stay humble.
stay humble.
Man. Enjoy yourself. When it's not fun and you don't enjoy it anymore, and you don't enjoy what you're doing, and it's not fun. Stay humble with the people. It's like I told my kids, no matter what, the fans are number one. If it wasn't for them fans, you wouldn't have a place to race. You wouldn't have a place to do what you got to do. And like I tell everybody, I'm just the monkey behind the wheel. I'm just the monkey behind the wheel. I'm out here to put on a show for you.
Right.
No matter what happens, you blow a motor, get in a wreck or whatever, then people come out of the grandstands and come see you, you're their hero. You're their hero, man.
Yep.
Put a smile on your face, put it to the side, and recognize them and go on. Whatever bad night you have. Don't ever doubt, don't ever take a kid's dream away. If a young man wants to race a car and that's what he enjoys, be behind him. Do what you got to do to be behind him.
Yep.
And make sure he enjoys it. That's the main thing is you got to enjoy it. And like you just said, I told my wife many years ago, this sport here, either you love it or you hate it. You either love it or you hate it. And if you love it,
it's a hard sport.
You're going to be
sport to walk away from.
I've tried to walk away from it many times.
Yeah.
And just it's your livelihood.
It is. It's just what you do. It's just what you do.
50 years,
Yep.
My oldest brother's done it. He raced dirt tracks and he drove for Larry Shaw, and he was part of the GRT chassis back in the day when they've gone in. My dad raced Pan American Speedway and all that. And then I raced San Antonio. And then I was an official. I've been an official at every racetrack, that there is.
Yep.
I've been involved in it some way or another. My kids have been involved in it all their lives, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. There's
always this thing going around that some of these young drivers learn some bad habits just from watching TV, NASCAR. Yeah. And some of those young kids coming up through with loads and loads of money and maybe some skill, maybe a lot, but quite often, no, they don't have a lot of skill, but they got a lot of money. And you see some really stupid crap.
I've seen a lot of it, especially.
What do you think how much of that rubs off onto these younger kids today?
It ain't going to rub off on one of my kids. I can tell you that.
All right, buddy.
I trailered Brandon one night. We were in Kyle one night, and he drove through. I can't think. Marsha. Her name was Marsha. He hooked her on the left rear and just dumped her. And I went over to Jack and I said, black flag him. And he's like, what? And I said, black flag him. And he black flagged him. I said, load your car up. And I said, I'll think about the next time you're going to race that car. We ain't going to do that. Now I'm a firm believer, and I'm going to race you the way you raced me. If you want to get rough and tough, then by God, we'll get rough and tough. I don't go for it. I don't like that kind of racing.
Yep.
You see a lot of it now.
You sure do.
In a situation where somebody's sitting on the bottom of a racetrack waiting for somebody, and it goes on, and that's a bunch of BS.
Yep.
If you got a problem with a young man or you got a problem, go sit down and talk about it. I'll be the first to tell you, back in the day, hell, we used to go down and we get down dirty and fight and stuff. Man, that's we don't need that. We don't need that. People don't need to see that in the grandstands. They don't.
Oh.
The young kids don't need to see none of that.
No.
Yes, it's gotten out of hand. It happens a lot. I've seen it a lot. Unfortunately, I see it a lot in the factory stock stuff.
Yeah.
It gets, but in regard to that, I grew up with Terry Barden, and that's got a lot to do with the racetrack. And I'm not. Don't get me wrong on that. It's.
No, I agree.
We're kids.
Yep.
When you put that helmet on and you strap in that race car, you become an idiot. It's just what happens. You set the helmet on and you cut the oxygen off. It happens.
Yep.
But it takes discipline for the track to come tell you, say, hey, park your stuff.
That's right.
And you're not going to come back until I'm not going to have it at my racetrack.
We agree. As long as when a track continues to condone that, it becomes a natural thing for these drivers to do.
And I've seen it got out of hand at one racetrack, and I'll tell you right now, Owen set his foot down, and he wasn't going to have none of that crap no more. And I seen him park cars and load them up and tell them, load your stuff and take it out of the racetrack. And unfortunately, that stuff needs to be done.
No, that's part of it. Sure, you're not. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a track operator promoter saying this is my playground, and you're going to play by my rules.
I have no.
You don't have a right to be here.
I've never had a problem with somebody that's dirty driving or pulling stuff like that needs to be disciplined. I know Terry Barden, when he don't have nothing to do with that, and I know Owen don't, and I know Mary Ann don't. I know Mary Ann didn't put up with that stuff at all.
Be like
she, I know her.
Did it
her
the
father,
other night. Load up, go home.
Well, what happened 2 weeks ago in Cotton Bowl?
Mm-hmm.
There was a situation, and he was escorted out of that place.
Sure.
And that's what needed to be done. That's what needed to be done. No
question.
Unfortunately, those things happen. It happens everywhere. And like you just said, you're seeing more of it now. And I have no problem going in the corner and get somebody and move them out of the way and move them, but don't wreck them. We don't need.
You know what? This expression just ticks me off every time I hear it. But no, rubbing is not racing. I'm sorry, that is not how you race.
No,
but that's such a common expression. That's Days of Thunder, or what the hell ever it was, Talladega Nights, and, and the old Harry Hyde days. It's not. Don't misinterpret what they said. What he was saying.
Right.
Yes, it happens in racing as part of racing, but it's not how you race. And I've seen that so many times.
I've been
out there and slam somebody around. I mean, you might want to tap him once, tap him twice, let him know you're there, and then pass him. But
my dad always told me, if they're fast enough to hit you in the bumper, they're fast enough to go around you.
Exactly.
That's what he always told me. If they can bump you, they can go around you.
And it takes patience too.
Sure,
my God, it's faster.
I've seen Dylan.
A bit of patience.
I've seen
Dylan lacking.
I've seen Dylan many times sit there on the left rear of somebody and just wear their left rear out. He's not hitting them. He's not hitting them, but he's just there. He's right there the whole time. And then, you wait for the time to come up and you go, but he's there. He's there the whole time. And I've been guilty enough of driving in over my head and get into somebody, and I don't mean it. It's not, it wasn't my, I'm going in the corner to wreck him. I'm not going, that's not the intention, but I try to get in a little bit deeper in the corner than he did.
Right.
And, the car didn't hold, and we got together, and, and that happens. That's racing.
Right.
If you don't think you're not going to get together, don't race. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. But this deliberate stuff, it's got to stop.
It's
You know,
killing
sitting at
it.
the bottom of a
It'll kill.
racetrack waiting for somebody to come around so you can take them out because your feelings are hurt.
Yeah, it'll
Yeah,
kill the
that's
track. It'll kill the race. It'll kill that class. It'll kill the car count. It's
right.
just not worth it.
No, sir.
But
No, sir.
I understand. I've been around it my whole life. I know
Sure.
you get mad,
Sure.
you get pissed off, and
Oh, I'm guilty. If a race car driver says that he ain't done it, he's lying.
that's right.
You know,
But just
he's
as a reminder to everybody out there that might be watching, we're talking about how we can help kids be better racers
right.
and what they can do to advance their career. So that's how this subject came up. Don't go out there and wreck everybody.
No, I
You know,
mean,
thinking you're
give
Dylan.
it your hey, give it your
Whatever
best
his
and
name is.
give it all you got. You know, give it your best. You know, by all means. You know, you're out there racing and you're out there being competitive, and you know that's racing.
Yep.
That's racing. You drive it. You know,
Yep.
to you drive it till the windshield break out of it. You know, that's part of it. You know, like a old friend of mine says, you know, you drive it into the fenders wrinkle up. You know,
Yep.
you give it all you got.
Yep.
Well, the biggest suggestion I have with these kids now is you know, it's hard to get into racing period now because of the cost.
Mm-hmm.
You know, thank God for sponsors. You know, if we didn't have sponsors in my business, we wouldn't be able to do it. You know, like I told a while ago, if it wasn't for Arthur Alexander and John Heil and them guys, I probably wouldn't be where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
But these kids now it's without the money and stuff right now. It's just really hard for them, and I feel sorry for them. You know, you get daddy's money, and I see it all the time, especially in asphalt racing. You get some of these kids, they don't even know who Jeff Gordon was. They don't even know who Dale Earnhardt was. They don't know any of this. They just
right.
go on the simulator. They think they can drive, and you got daddy's money, and you know it ends up in a crap show.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then but then you get some of these kids, you know, they get in and they just got the talent to no end. You know, like right now, I see a lot of talent in Blaine Margraf. I see a lot of talent in that kid.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably not going to race my car much more. I enjoy. I'm going racing with Dylan, and you know, I've got to race with Brandon and Dylan on the asphalt. I wasn't very good at it, you know, but you know what? I had fun racing with those guys. And
That's what it's all about, man.
You know, and I'm looking at future. Maybe I'll put somebody in my car, and Blaine's number one on my list right now. Probably going to put him in my car. You know, run down in Corpus, and running that Marianne's track. You know, running there and on some weekends and stuff. I really like the kid. I think he's got a lot of talent behind him.
Yep. He sure showed it the other night, man.
Yes, sir. You know, coming from the back,
good.
You know, that was easy. Especially not in that class. I mean, they're big horsepower cars on 8-inch tires, and you know, yeah, they're chipped at 6,600, but you know, it doesn't matter. It's still that was a hell of a run.
Well, I have my thoughts on chips and all of that subject. So
yeah, we can.
We're on to it here, boys. You know, how fast you want to spin your rear tires?
Yeah, it's you know, you can manipulate a lot of things.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of things in the rule books that, you know, I'm not saying that I've done any of it. You know,
Well, I know you haven't, of course not.
But you know, that's, and there again we go that's part of racing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've been accused. People say that I'm the biggest cheater there is. I don't deny it. You know, it's not cheating; it's innovating. You know, there's stuff that we do that nobody's does and stuff. And you know, if a race car driver says he ain't cheating, he's lying.
Yeah.
I don't care what they say.
I just don't. I don't like to see it done in an expensive way.
Right.
I don't know. Hard to explain, but if you're going to cheat,
I get it. I get it.
reasonable,
I mean,
so the other people can afford to do it too.
you get. Believe me, I've been outmoneyed. I've been outmoneyed many times.
I know.
That's not a. That's we ain't even go that road. Play those cards. But you know
Yeah.
what? I've seen this big money thing go, and my son got in a truck and won the big $2,000 race here, a few months ago down there. And money doesn't buy it. Sometimes money can't buy talent.
That's right.
And and I'm partial to my kids. I think both my boys have done very well in what they, the junk that I've put them in. I lived in a dumpster with Arthur Alexander. His secondhand parts, put our cars together, and we ran secondhand parts for many years.
Mm-hmm.
And there would be some weekends that we broke, and then there was some weekends we ran. We won races.
Yeah.
But the big thing is with your kids, the dads out there. Lord knows I've probably not been a very good father figure of some sort of, running mouths and stuff like that. But stay behind your kids, do what they, stay behind them, enjoy what you're doing, enjoy the time, because the time that I've had with my two boys is just, you can't take that back.
Yeah. They're looking up to you. They're watching everything you do.
Oh boy, they better change some things I've done.
Well, that's the point.
Yeah, they learned their lessons, and I've learned mine along the way.
Yeah.
So,
well, okay, bud. Hey, listen, I like to keep these to around 30 minutes. We're 40 minutes.
Yes, sir. I appreciate
keep going if you want. I know that I've really enjoyed talking with you, listening to your stories. I'm sure we could go on all night long.
Oh, we could. I can sit and talk racing all day long. All my life. And everybody out there, just stand behind your kids. Thanks to fans and everybody for coming out to the tracks and supporting everybody. And we're going to be in Corpus Christi in November, and we're going to be in December. We got a big factory stock race down there. Y'all come on down to Corpus.
There you go.
And Marianne's got some things going on down there that we're going to do some stuff down there and be with Marianne and Corpus and stuff. So y'all come out and see us.
Good. All right, Lance, listen, thank you so much for taking time to come on.
I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Sure. Thank you. We'll catch you on the other side, dude. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Have a good evening, man.
Yes, sir. Y'all too.
Yep. Thanks.